feel like I just saw some of you just a second ago. Oh yeah, I did.
Wanna hand over host?
Yeah. Since we have 1 hour, we'll do this pretty quickly. So anyone who wants to talk, we're going to give everybody about another 5 minutes before we start up. A reminder. Oh, someone's got an open mic. Reminder as you come in to mute your mic.
Does this finally sound better?
Alex, you're muted.
Alex is muted.
Oh, I got muted. How did that happen? Put your name, put your location in if you feel like it. It's nice to see where everyone's from. How's it going, Andy? Good.
Yep, just doing a rename and tied up my hands. But no, doing well. It's nice to see everybody. Looking forward to our sort of our last hurrah of this series, but I'm sure there's things down the pipe. We'll continue to talk.
Can someone on our team post the? I don't have them right in front of me. The where to put the questions, the links to Mukana, the desktop and mobile links to Mukana. I just don't have them right. I think I have them right here. But if you can post that in the chat, just make sure everybody has it. There we go.
And because it's the first day, we've got a ton of black magic questions for the next hour. So I'm going to move those into.
Don't move them.
Column.
Don't do that.
Oh,
yeah, don't move anything. Yeah.
Okay.
So just people just have to look for the ZoomOSC ones. Yeah, it'll really jack things up if you move them.
Okay.
I wanted to illustrate something fun while people are still joining. If that's all right, I'd like to put something on the screen share. If you take a look at display 3, this is with the new upgrade that came out this week. This is how fast we're able to keep track of all of this incoming data. Like, it's literally streaming all of your joins, lists, and information statuses of all the people who are doing all the things. And now I'm able to reconstruct lists on the fly that I can select through and do certain actions based on that. But it is a constant flow of information without any performance loss now. So I'm really excited to try it on these large meetings. It's really fast now, and that's super exciting.
And what you're saying is it wasn't trivial to make that work.
No, not at all. Not for. I mean, to iron out the performance of it. We did like loop unrolling and all sorts of crazy stuff to try to get the performance to where it needs to be. But this is a fairly large meeting, and it's already it's flying. So I'm feeling good about it.
If you have questions, make sure to put them into Mukana. If you have things you want to show, raise your digital hand, your Zoom hand, so that you'll sort yourself to the top, so we know that you're coming up there. Any other big new things, Andy?
Yeah, a lot of things. I think I'll probably wait until we jump in to get into some of them, because some of them are pretty interesting, I think. So
why don't we? So keep on asking those questions in Mukana. I'm gonna disappear for about 5 minutes, and then I'll be right back, and we'll get started at 9:10.
So I guess we shouldn't ask you what your favorite TV shows you watched this week was, Andy. It seems like you've been a tad engaged.
A little bit, you might say. Yeah. We're making the rounds, going through the different things. No, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. I'm excited, especially for today, to see this sort of summarized look at what everybody's been able to do over the past month. As many as are willing to share. I'm really hoping that we can highlight your work, because there have been so many wonderful things that I've seen on either like one-on-one sessions or in the Slack group, and I'm really looking forward to trying to collect that today and see what everybody's up to. So, Mickey, do you have a sense of how my mic is? I can't follow the meter because I'm not able to see it. Am I coming in too low?
Yeah, I think you're just right.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Andy, thanks for working with me.
Oh yeah, of course, John. No worries. We'll probably make that a more visible process as well. So I think.
Well, no, it was useful. I liked the fact that you were willing to entertain my harebrained idea. So
Yeah, no problem at all. And I think that, yeah, like I say, that's the kind of thing that we want to learn about. That people want that kind of stuff, and so then we'll respond in kind. So I see Bernie. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Andy. It's we have a show tonight, so I've been last week it's been pretty heads down and haven't been contributing as much, and also haven't been able to upgrade because I don't like to touch anything once it's working.
No, I don't blame you at all. No, that's great.
But I can't wait tomorrow to check out all the new things that have been going on.
What's the production tonight?
It's called A Medal for Willie. So it's Newton Theater Company, newtontheatercompany.com if you want to. We have pay what you can, so you could just go get a free ticket and check it out tonight. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's a play about Jim Crow's South and experiences of a small town. It's good. And then we have a talk back about racism, sort of the end of Black History Month, and putting together something for our to talk about in our town, but it's also relevant anywhere, really.
Of course.
So yeah, come join. And I don't do very tech heavy things. I basically just have Isadora layouts, but the actors on the scenes. We don't do green screens, even though I've tried to convince my wife to do that. My wife, by the way, is the director. Yes, and she's the theater person, and she's like, it's about the words. We don't have to get so anything fancy I do, it's to try to make the story better and not necessarily to do anything cool looking or anything like that.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to in our session today showing having you walk through some of your Git repos and some of the tools that you made for your productions, like the type in a name, get their video feed, all that stuff is a lot of fun. So
yeah, that's the one that I'd be happy to show, because that's the one I sort of have queued up if you want me to show you how that works.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And sorry, Andy, just being able to hear you in context with other people. Since we won't be able to do mic checks with everyone, just to maintain you being above most people in terms of level, maybe just bump up 2 or 3 dB.
You got it. All right, going up 2 or 3 dB right here on this Moto M2 with very little information about what I'm actually doing as I dial this thing. But hopefully I didn't go too far.
I think that's better. Yeah. Thank you.
I get excited too. So
I didn't think about doing a mic check, and I see I'm not very loud, so I'll just. All right, got an idea.
Awesome. Let's see here. I had another question, but I've lost. James, did you paint your attic?
Yes, I did.
It looks terrific.
Thank you.
That looks great.
It's a little bit grey. I need to get some window tint for the window, and then I'll be sorted.
That's brilliant.
Unless there's another production coming up where I can talk nicely to the gaffer, I have to pay for it. So.
No, it really looks good. So I remember when you had first popped by, you had asked, what to do with that space, and I love that you've kept the window, and I love the paint. That looks great.
I need to get some lights to get the halo effect going.
Stained glass.
Better still. Yeah, radiate.
Wonderful, great.
Mickey, am I still too low?
Sounds like it.
By the way, I've taken, for all our rehearsals, we now do sound checks at the beginning, something we didn't do at the start, and it's made a huge difference. And now, since I also do sound effects from QLab, I can preset all my sounds to be exactly the right place, and I know when the actors are going to be louder or softer than it. It changed everything sound-wise. Even though the actors, we don't have much money to send everyone great mics and everything, so, but at least I can get the balance right.
Which meters?
I'm using the Uline.
Thank you.
Mickey, did you mention something about something being discounted earlier today? I just picked up a little bit.
Isotope Insight, which was on sale at the Plugin Boutique.
Thank you.
It was at least 2 days ago 2 or 3 days ago at $49 US as opposed to the standard 200.
Okay. And what's the address for that again? Boutique.
Let me get a link and put it in Mukana.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just pluginboutique.com. All one word for the plugin boutique.
I'm just doing a mic check here. How's this sound? I'm going to come up a little bit.
No, you're fine, Andy.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And
Benjamin,
yes, it is still 49 US, and I am putting it in Mukana now.
Is everybody seeing like Mike Johnson constantly highlighted as the speaker other than me, like the yellow box around him?
I haven't noticed that.
Benjamin, did the companion updates go up? Did the changes that
yeah, we discussed? I believe it's coming out. I will have to check with Ashley, but I believe it's coming out in the next nightly build.
Well, I'll tell you the really exciting update was we pushed an update to generic OSC. We fixed OSC in companion, and they took it. They took our code. So I'm very excited about that.
So this is our last hour, but we know that we can Andy's going to stick with us in Discord, and also we'll get him back on. We're going to bring Andy on periodically to to fill in gaps as we keep on working on it and show us new things that are happening with ZoomOSC. We really consider ZoomOSC and Andy as part of the family now, so we're going to keep on bringing him back in. So as we get going, Andy, do you want to talk about anything new between the last one and this one?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll sort of try to maybe tee up what some of the stuff we might want to do today. So we pushed another, as we do every week. We pushed an update.
Quick thing. Are we doing YouTube?
Oh, we are. I can't
host
because I gave you the
yes,
thing.
sir.
Hold on 1 second. We'll have a lot of angry. We'll stop this for 1 second because we'll have a lot of angry folks. Of like, I expected you to record this and then you didn't record it, and now everything is ruined.
Yeah, no,
yeah, exactly. So
we know something about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And angry people always have really rough voices.
I always think of them that way. Like if you send me an email when you're angry, I just think of you talking like this the whole time.
Pirates, a lot of pirates out here. Pirates.
All right.
I always picture a pitchfork emoji for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we're now live on YouTube, and we'll go back. So Andy, you're going to have you are going to you've got a couple things that you want to talk about.
Yes, sir. And today, because I think we're going to operate on a little more of a compressed timeline, but I wanted to really focus on the showcases. And I think that's one of the best ways to learn about what the product can do, is just to see what people are doing with it. And we've all had a month together to try different things, and I've brought in some folks who are experts on different areas of using ZoomOSC, and so we'll kind of go through that. But just a couple of quick updates. As we do every week, we've released another update to ZoomOSC. So I think now we're on 404, 405 will go out next week, and we'll continue to do this kind of weekly release cycle until we feel like we've gotten to a really good place. And most of the feedback has been addressed. We released another update to the companion module, which you can get both from the nightly builds now and from our Slack group if you want to get it early before they pull it. We've also, I was just saying, we've pushed code to Bitfocus itself to resolve their string multi-word issues, and they took that in and thanked us very much for that. We're working with QLab Figure 53 right now to update the OSC libraries that they have for Objective-C, which are really commonly used, and we're going to allow them to support non-ASCII characters, so accent marks and characters from the Chinese character set, which has been a problem for some things that we're trying to do. So we're working with them to try to open that up, and hopefully that will start to see its way into other applications soon. I definitely want to have Sherman share a little bit soon about what we saw from Universe this week, but your feedback has been heard loud and clear, and they have been working on some really exciting stuff that yeah.
And most likely we'll have Universe on for at least a second hour. They've reached out directly to me to get more involved. I think we definitely got their attention, and we'll probably end up doing some kind of training later in the year with Universe, and we'll try to drag Sherman into that, as well as the folks from Universe, to really talk about it. I'm super excited about the interaction.
It's a really incredible platform, and they're super open as a team. Like, it's just that their philosophy of that is just really exciting. So that's coming around. So Sherman and I have been playing with it a bit. We're going to put our heads together tomorrow and then get them some feedback and keep rolling. But it's looking so far so good. We worked with some modifications to Isadora this week as well. So now there's a way now to do kind of similar to what Universe does. You can now have actors inside of the scene influence the control surface. So that thing I was showing earlier with the names dropping down on the list, that's a brand new feature in Isadora that was created specifically for ZoomOSC, but it applies to the entire product. So now you can do that in any of those environments there. We got some new dynamic listing things, highlighting a whole bunch of upgrades were made to Isadora, which is about to have a new update. So we're sort of strongly involved in that. As you guys know, this is the last week of sort of the 1 month wrapping area. So the trial license will expire tomorrow. So if you, we've issued a couple different licenses. We have the ones that we gave everybody, and that'll go down. And then we gave some individual ones for those of you who wanted to try the cloud management portal. If you want to reactivate those, just let me know. Shoot us an email, info@liminalet.com, and we'll just turn those back on. I'm very open to evaluation trials as well. So if you're trying to do a demo for your boss or something like that, and you want to say, all right, can I have this pro key for another week or so? Just write us, let us know what you're trying to do, and we'll generally take care of that. Like that's not really a problem for us. And likewise, if you have special pricing needs or something like that, you can reach out, and we're usually pretty reasonable about being able to work with you on that kind of stuff. So always feel free to shoot us an email. You can buy the product on our website if you feel that you want to do that. If you're not ready to do that though, and you want to get some merch, we are doing a t-shirt or a polo shirt run, kind of like the one I'm wearing right now. If you want to sign up for that, Kala, can you put the link in Mukana for me, please? And you can sign up there. We're doing the thing that we did when I was in college, where you'd send out the link, get the sizes, the number, the quantity, collect that information, figure out how much it's going to be, then email everybody and say, hey, if you want to actually go forward with this, here's the information to go pick up the shirt. So we'll be doing a run of shirts for those of you who want to say, like, I survived ZoomOSC training. That we'll push that out, and we're super appreciative of anything that you guys can do, because that really helps us do some of these peripheral integrations as well. It helps fund that kind of development. The last two things I'll say is that yesterday on the Zoom Test Kitchen, we demoed 2 new tools that we're going to be coming out with very soon: ZoomOSC and ZoomISO. So you've heard me talk about ZoomISO before. ZoomISO is the ability to get individual NDI or siphon outputs of contributing feeds in a Zoom call. And we gave a little demo of that. I'm going to be doing another demo of that on Monday with Ed on AV Tech Talks, and we're really looking forward to that. So that's kind of now going in its final shoot towards release. So we'll be starting a beta program for that. I'll be reaching out, and hope some of you will test that and give us feedback about what's working, what's not working, and how the workflow is going. RoomOSC is kind of a new... I had this, there's been a lot of changes in rooms in the past 3 weeks in the way that they're built on the back end, and it opened up a door that I decided that we were going to step through. And what this allows me to do basically is connect to an existing room from our app and get controls of pins, spotlights, video on, off, all of that stuff that ZoomOSC does the same way, but by connecting via CLI to a room. So you can target it to any room. It's not like ZoomOSC where you have a separate client that you run. You run the normal Zoom Room client. This basically is a remote control that can latch onto it and start calling actions without you having to go through a touch panel and trying to find the participant and the drop-down list and which screen to pin them on. You can just call commands from your Stream Deck. We're working on being able to batch connect to tons of rooms at once and allow you through the OSC interface to be able to access those. So we'll be playing around with that. And then feedback. The feedback that we get on a Zoom room is shocking. Like the amount of extra data that those Zoom rooms give back that the SDK clients don't provide is insane. I can see all sorts of things about what clients have on their systems and how those are running. Not like other software and stuff, but like what settings in Zoom have they applied and which are and are not. And so we're going to externalize all of that. So if you're an integrator and you want that kind of data, we can now provide that to you by bringing a Zoom room into the call and having RoomOSC spit out that information about all the participants. So it's going to have a really beefy list output command. And we demoed some of that yesterday. So I'll be, for those of you who are Zoom Room power users, let's say, ping me if you want to try it out in sort of a limited run beta. I'm curious for your feedback about, hey, does this actually help that workflow, or is this just kind of like a neat thing that won't actually see it into the production pipeline? But I think there's a lot of opportunity there to get a lot of control of a really powerful product. So, but I want to focus group it because that's a hole in my experience. Right? I use Zoom meetings every day. We use it for productions. I don't use Zoom rooms in my production company. I probably should, but we haven't set that up yet. So those of you who do use it, your feedback will be instrumental to making sure that the product is tuned for what you need. So I'll be looking for that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to blab about. I'd love to, go around, and I think maybe we should start with some of the folks from our side who have been doing integrations, then we'll open it up to everybody to show off what they've made. If that sounds good to you, Alex, and then maybe some questions at the end.
Yeah, sounds great.
Great. Okay. Bernie, would you be willing to lead us off? So Bernie's one of our power users who has created a whole bunch of different Git repositories for extensions of ZoomOSC into different places, things that can do calculations to figure out where video feeds are in the gallery view, different interfaces in TypeScript and things like that, and then some stuff in the world of theater. So Bernie, take it away.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, I've been using ZoomOSC, I guess, for a while. We were doing the theater company that my wife is the artistic director for. She, when the pandemic hit, we decided, why don't we do some Zoom theater? We have actors who want to keep acting. We have an audience who wants to keep seeing theater. So let's keep it going. We started by just using Zoom webinars, and we would just have boxes and we would do radio plays, and it's faces looking at a screen. Then at some point over the summer, I started to look into what can we do with like actually laying out a screen more than just having the Zoom plain layout. And that's when I kind of discovered Isadora and ZoomOSC, and saw that I think it was going to the ZoomOSC Slack channel, I saw some people were talking about other shows that they were doing. And I think, I don't remember, it's Frank something, I don't remember, was the first one that I saw that's like, I can do that. And so that's when I started connecting ZoomOSC with Isadora. My first attempts were to do ZoomOSC directly to OBS. But then when I had more than like 4 or 5 actors, I couldn't have 4 or 5 feeds of screen scraping into OBS, just was killing the CPU on my machine because each one was a whole NDI. It was just, I just couldn't get it to work. So I was first working on writing code that was going to split up the screens in ZoomOSC and crop it for OBS. And so my first, actually I'm going to try to, I'm not going to share my screen, but I'll just point to the repositories in GitHub. So in GitHub, I first made something I called like Zoomafoo or Zoomafoo. I just like to make fun names when I'm doing GitHub repos. So what it was originally just, the idea was that it would just crop the screen, give me ISOs that I can then show in OBS. So I spent a lot of time just calculating what are the sizes of these boxes. So started with a spreadsheet, like if there's 3 boxes on a 16 by 9, what are the dimensions? And then I kind of worked out what it was going to be. And I saw that Richard or others whoever had made the Isadora cropper, there was sort of an auto cropper that was there. That was a little bit off here and there. So I thought I would try to make it like exact as possible. So that's when I came up with the algorithm of like exactly cropping like to the pixel, like it won't, like the yellow around your name will not show up at all in the screen, and you won't see 1 pixel less than necessary. So you could still see the full name. I didn't want to lose any of the image. So there was let's see. So there's several versions of it. My GitHub repo is github.com/bbernstein. I'll put that in I guess I could put that in the Mukana chat. And then in there, I have a few different things. I'll go back to my earlier ones, which was, so one I called, let me see if this is the right one. Something called Zoomafoo, or Zoomafew, I called it. There. So this is a repo. It's really simple. And I had a little code called cropsy, which crops it just figures out, given the dimensions, it would figure out the croppings. And this was made for OBS at the time. And the one that I just put there, this is my early version. It's not exact at the time. It wasn't quite exact, and I haven't updated it because I've gotten much more precise since then.
Bernie, I don't know whether anybody else is, but I'm not seeing the screen share. I'm just seeing you.
Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. I just put a link to the repo. I'm just going to go through a few little the web pages. Actually, why don't I just share the screen? I'll do that. Or at least I'll share. Oh, I need you to let me share my screen.
Mickey's just done it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and let me find the right window to share. I have a lot of windows. Oh, I guess, you know what? I'll just move it to my second screen so I can share that whole screen. And
what are you doing?
Sorry, here we go.
No,
okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
All right, great. In fact, I'll make it a little bit bigger. All right, so Zoom a few. I'll just base. So what I have here is this in the source code. I do a little a little bit in the README saying this was made to talk with OBS Studio, and it changes the cropping of things, and it'll change. It actually used the API of OBS and would create a bunch of scenes based on what people were in the Zoom. So it actually make a bunch of ISO cropped scenes from the screen share from wherever you're sharing. So I thought this was really cool, but it just didn't scale up to what I needed. So the few other things that I made, I have a lot of repos, so I'm gonna, I did kind of a layer of just talking to talking from to OBS through OSC, just a library that helps to do it from from Python at the time. But that one I didn't really expand on too much. What I actually would like to just skip ahead to some of the things that I did recently, which I think would be useful.
I think that'd be great. Yeah, but maybe some of your Isadora user actors would be, I think, really fancy to look at.
Yeah, so let's look at the Isadora stuff that I've been doing. I'm going to pull. What I'm going to do is pull the Isadora stuff onto the screen, if I can do that. Why isn't it showing up there?
You may be only showing that browser, not the screen.
Oh, all right. I thought I showed.
You have to select the whole screen. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'll let me change that. Okay. Sorry, I lost the Zoom window, so let me just get this out of full screen mode. Oh no, I was in full screen mode. That was what it was. Okay, can you see this now? You see Isadora screen? All right, so this is my latest thing that I'm really excited about, but I'm not using it yet for my show because my current show I've already got working. And as I mentioned earlier, in case anyone didn't hear, I have a show this evening, and in the last week before a show, I just don't change things, or at least anything major, anything fundamental that could really break everything. But what I have here, actually, I'll show you the end result. And I can't show you the screen because I don't have actual Zoom running because I'm talking to you. But what I have here is, this is how I do layouts of screens, or this is how I set up Isadora to do layouts. I have this thing called name to video, and this is the magic. This just takes a name. Anyone who happens to be in the chat with this name is going to have this video out. So what happens inside this user actor is really the interesting part. But this is kind of the magic user actor. Put in the name of your cast and make sure that they have the right names in the chat, and magically you will have their video out, all cropped exactly to the right size. And I'll show you a little bit of, in here, the magic that that does this, which, sorry, I need to find it. Here it is. So I have a few different actors inside here, starting with the list. So first I have to find out who are all the users. So I listen to the list. Again, I'll make it bigger again. So the list command from ZoomOSC, I just take all the outputs and I stick it into this other user actor, which all it does is, again, the size, is just puts them into a bunch of global variables, global values. And they're just I just do these text formatters to name them something useful. So I have name, T index, which is the target index, gallery index, role. I just make a bunch of global variables and set it to the values that I got from list. And then I just store them away. And now I can just use this stuff anywhere. And all those other listeners here, like the video status listener, they're just changing individual values from that same those same global variables. So I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible.
Awesome. So you've basically built all of this off of the list output command plus your calculations that you have to determine where the videos exist. And now you've basically made the lift for the end user in Isadora really low, so that you can get those cropped videos just by pulling in this user actor, putting in the names, and now you're good to go.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so the other half of this, so I just have this simple user info, output is the video, and it just sends it out. I'm sending it out through it. I'm using a broadcaster and listener to send the video to all of these things. And I made a video about an older version of this, which you might have seen, where I do this thing called a box mover, which is a really convenient way with the mouse. I could just move and drag boxes around the screen. And so these things, I just take the output and send them to a box projector. And in this current show, I make everyone square. So I'll just stick a filter from the video to the video here, and then it happens to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Sorry, I went a little long, but
no, it's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
No, there's a lot of pieces to it. So but it's helpful to see. So yeah, if you're gonna do something in Isadora, go grab Bernie's stuff first. Make your life 15 times easier before you dive into it.
Yeah, and I'm always on the Slack channel. You could ping me. In fact, I did this inspired by talking to a theater tech who was wondering how to do it, and I said, "Oh, it'd be easier if it were just names." So I just made it.
Awesome, cool. Thanks, Bernie.
What is your method of pulling the gallery view into your Isadora? What method do you use?
Oh, I have a second screen, the one that I was just sharing. So basically the laptop screen. It's a 15-inch MacBook Pro from about 4 years ago. So it's one of the four core CPU MacBook Pros. The screen itself for the Mac is where I do the gallery. I never look over there anymore because I don't want to accidentally have my mouse going over the characters. But that's just where the display is.
Fabulous.
Coming in through what kind of encoder?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out what kind of encoder you're using to come into Isadora.
It's the screen capture actor, right?
Yes, it's the plain screen capture actor. Right. I'm not doing anything fancy.
Gotcha. Cool. Sherman, do you want to show us what Universe showed us this week and what you've been iterating on to the extent we can?
Yeah, first I'm set up for just something else, so I'll show this first.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Whatever you want to do.
Universe
totally
added in there. So the best way to share is if somebody can pin my screen, I'm just going to share because I'm switching in vMix sub to what's coming into here. So first off, it looks like my hand's up. I'm going to lower that. Real quick, again, orientation. It might look a little weird while I'm presenting, but top left is my pin 1 screen, and then I've got top right of pin 2 screen, universe show control, and then I'm showing the sidecar in the bottom right. But in the universe area, so I'm going to switch to that full screen here. This is a little bit of logic that's actually, first off, the top section here. Let me tour with my mouse. This top section here is some logic that's basically taking whatever the active speaker is, formatting the string to send to vMix to set a title, and then it automatically sets that title when the active speaker is changed. So I'll just kind of show you, since I'm talking there. Oh, video feedback, lovely. So then I've got another piece of logic down here that actually, if a user raises their hand, so I don't know if everybody should do this, but if Andy, you could raise your hand in the meeting, we'll see this action went off here and on my pin 2 screen. So I'm going to go back to my multi. It should have, looks like Steven to override. So, yeah, I don't have a buffer in there yet to make it that it doesn't take whatever hand raised. My plan is to make it that I could make a buffer where it basically takes someone, holds them on screen. I could have a Q&A with them and then exit away, self-titling type thing. And then real quick, back in the universe interface, there's another one section here that's taking the chat. And I have this little section here that I can put a message that if somebody types thank you with this exact same case in the chat, they actually will be pinned to my screen 2 and also set that vMix title on screen 2. So let's see. If
what was super cool about this is that you're talking from Universe to the vMix titler instead of doing like an alpha layer that you have to pull in from another media server or something like that. It's all communicating right inside of vMix, and it's translating our data from ZoomOSC into data that it can understand.
Correct. Yep. And so in Universe, here's just kind of behind the scenes showing some of the patching and the wirings. It's just taking that one OSC message, parsing it out, doing some logic, and then it actually triggers OSC to do the pin and vMix to do the title, and then vMix captures those screens via NDI. I'm using Bird Dogs for that capture. So that's kind of the first section there. Let me just get the other Zoom. I just got to deactivate and activate and change my IPs for where the OSC messages are coming back here.
Do you want us to pop over to another showcase and come back?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Universe one?
Yeah, I'm halfway there, but go ahead and I'll show Universe's added integration in a second here. Just got to change.
Sounds great. Benjamin, did you want to show key modifiers and what you've been working on?
I'm so close. Give me one more minute.
Sure. Let's see. Anybody else want to jump in to our showcase table? Orion? Yeah, totally. What you got?
So mine is exceptionally simple in comparison to what a lot of the stuff you've shown, but I think it's quite useful just with just the tools that you've given us, what can be achieved. So if I share, I can't share.
Mickey will enable
you. Can now.
You're now co-host. You can share.
Okay, lovely. Where is it? If it gives me the right camera. No, it did not. Oh, sorry. That's the camera we wanted. So in Companion, I have a bunch of buttons that basically apply to everyone that I would expect in a meeting that I do every week. So I have a page for muting and a page for spotlighting. So I can just choose the kid that I want to call up or clear them out and bring however many of them up and get rid of them. And exactly the same with the muting. I can just pick whoever I want because I don't run the meeting as such. Someone else is the one who's talking, and they'll end up picking the one that I haven't got. So I can just find it. Whoever she's just called out, I can go ahead and bring them up. That's exactly the same for the adults involved in the call. The fun buttons that I like. So I have gallery and speaker, just because that's a useful one. Whether or not the kids can unmute themselves, because that's always incredibly annoying when there's just a noise from somewhere. So I just turn that off and then I can turn it back on when we do want them talking. And then literally last night, I was asked to get involved in another project for a company. So I don't know very much about this show. I just know that there are 18 performers. These are their names. So I've just put together a little bit so I can spotlight them, I can unmute them, and I can play around with whether I've got graphics and stuff through OBS, and I can do all of my mic check stuff as well. So for this one, I will literally, where's it gone? Page 21. Because I don't know what they're going to be and stuff, I'm literally just going to be changing the target ID and the volume within that and hitting test as my way of, changing who I'm targeting at any given moment. And my more normal workflow would be QLab. So this is a show that I actually did in December, which I ran on 3.2. And I've gone through and just updated it all to the 4.0 commands just for practice for using them and seeing what other things I could add in. So just as I go through, I can apply, I can bring people in at the time the sound effect is going off, etc.
Brilliant. No, that's awesome. And what I love is the way that
simple version of what
no,
can
but
be
it's
achieved.
but it's I would say that you're using the commands very directly, but you've built out something that's really, I think, fairly complex. I mean, for what you're trying to do and the level of control that you get, just you're not going through 15 million programs. You're just using the API, putting it on the button. I think that's a totally legitimate way to work. So thank you for sharing that. That's really helpful. Benjamin, are you good to show off your key modifiers?
Thing. So could you allow Switcher A to be a co-host for a moment? Believe Okay, not just me, but also Switcher A. Excellent. So this is one of those strange demos that works best when we're not spotlighting. But let me see if instead I can talk through Switcher A, so that'll help us out with it. Excellent. So yes, I can hear myself. Good stuff. Okay. So let's try again. Okay. So my friend Switcher A is on page 2. You can go pin them. I don't think I can spotlight them right now. So let's see what happens. Let me try spotlighting them, and we'll see if it works. So what I'm demoing right now is a control panel here on Companion, much like what Ryan was showing, except this allows you to do multi-user selections. So I can tap any number of, folks, and then I can perform an action on them. Unfortunately, this is a beta version of Companion, which should be coming out in the nightly build soon. So it's looking needs a little bit of stability, but so as I select folks, there will be user status feedback that will change the color of the buttons, and then I can hit pin to pin them on this other screen. But while we're spotlighting, I can't pin. So
yeah, we need to release the spotlight, and then we need to have people who want to see this just pin them.
So Benjamin, maybe continue speaking using Switcher A so that it's always what's on active speaker. Mute yourself as Benjamin and talk through Switcher A.
Okay. Are we doing better now? Okay. There we go. So here I go. So if I tap these folks and then I pin here, nothing happens. Try one more time. Okay. I will come back. I will give this one moment.
Okay, sounds good. Sherman, do you want to show off Universe?
Yep. So best spotlight my feed here, and I'll switch this in my vMix side here.
Actually, Sherman, would it be possible for you to screen share it instead, just because we are having issues with Zoom?
Yeah, and my DSL. Gotcha. Let me see if I can get the ZoomOSC client. I'm on a different machine, so here I've got a cheat way. Sorry, I'm just going full screen with my vMix, and then I'm going to share my screen of full screen share of vMix to, I think that should work. Did I get permissions for that?
Yes, sir.
There we go. All right, screen 2, share. All right, so you should be seeing that there. Do we have this in the corner? Get rid of that. That's over here. All right, so here's Universe, the new beta version that we're working with. I'm going to try to move that out of the way. So the first thing that they've added in here is this custom list box that is actually going and showing everybody in the call and their current status. And I can select from that list the same way that I've showed in the previous videos with typing the name at the bottom or clicking a name, and it up here changes the output for that person selected, which that command then could be passed into another button and do all your pins, spotlights, things like that. Another great thing they've added is, again, they've added the device down here as the share, as their new device. They have, again, this list here that I can go through and select everything, but they've also created a feature that I've been actually curious about using on other items inside Universe, is I can go and make a set of buttons for the video state, setting the defaults for what each of those buttons will be, and I'm going to do 12 rows. And if I grab this gear cog here and drop it, it takes a second to populate with this big of a call. But I now have a button for everybody's toggle video state here in this stage.
One drag. One drag.
One drag. I have a button automatically built with name. One of the bugs I found is it doesn't rename you. When somebody renames, it doesn't rename the button. Still is linked to the person, but it's not renamed automatically there. But yeah, with one drag, I can bring in the whole call and do buttons for their mute, unmute, all that type of stuff. Given big calls like this, that's problematic and stuff like that. But there are some a bunch of other things they've added in here, but that they've for their command buttons. So when I drag a button in, go to the button, I'm going to drag in the OSC options here. Let me UI make this a little bigger on the bottom here. So under control, you have your basic set, different type of options. But under AV control, I have a drop down here for, I select participants, it automatically adds a variable there. And, oh, not doing the drop down right now. Normally it drops down the people's names there. Let me try it under chat. Given they actually, we had a meeting with them Wednesday. They gave us a beta on Friday and had this all built ready for us to go. And we're testing the first beta build of this implementation. It's pretty crazy that they have gotten this far. So the drop down there for the participant isn't working right now. It was before. But that's about it. So yeah. Any other questions or anything there?
This is the power of office
that's
hours, right?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That
Holy
was
cow, right?
awesome. Oh, wow.
So yeah, when you want things to happen and you work as a group, you can get anything you want. So isn't that incredible? Awesome. Great. Mike, I see you've got your hand raised. Did you want to show us something?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So cool. If I can share my screen. Okay. Okay. Oops.
We'll have to move relatively quickly because we're going to run out of time. We have a hard out at the end of the hour.
Yeah, are you guys seeing Isadora? I'm having
no, just a black screen at this point.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to go ahead and go to someone else because Zoom is.
There's something going on with this meeting. I apologize that our last one, Zoom is having some issue and we're not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah, okay. I think we're going through a storm of some sort.
Yeah.
Great. Jason, do you want to show us what you got?
Yeah, I can show mine real quick.
There are two of us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which Jason?
No.
You,
he had
Jason,
his
you're
hand
good.
up. I
Okay.
can't demo mine because it's on a different machine and my multi-view is gone.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, it's all good. Yep. Let's go to screen share. It'll be quick if I get a screen up.
What is that thing?
Is this something I have to do to get a screen share?
You should be good.
No, Mickey should have enabled
No,
it.
he's been, yeah.
Yep. All right. So you see this, basically I want it to control Mimo Live through their API and ZoomOSC on a single button in Stream Deck. So the green box in the middle is like my program output. Currently the bottom screen, this iPhone, is pinned on my second screen. What I'm about to do is pin the iMac, the back of my head here. That'll bring up in the program feed and you'll see that change by changing both a layer set in Mimo Live and pinning a different user on one button. And you'll see the button change here. So I just pinned this user here, made this look from Mimo Live, and then I can also unpin. And I can pin a different person if I want right there. That's all.
That's awesome. I know the Mimo ZoomOSC connection has been something folks have been really interested in. So thanks for showing us how to do that with the common controller. Barry?
Yeah, I mean, really, the stuff we do is much more simple than that, but nonetheless important. Not in the same league as Sherman stuff. Bernie, you said you don't change anything until a week before, within a week of the show. We're quite the opposite. We seem to be given changes to do up to a minute or two before the show. and we had one this week where we absolutely could not have done it without OSC. We were asked to give equal distribution of screen time to 2 people on a call. So we just did a dual pin, and that was possible and instant, which is what they wanted. This company used to have 8 or 10 people on a broadcast. They'd have the vision engineer, sound engineer, graphics operator, and everything would run smoothly. But because of the way we
lost you.
Yeah, it looks like
Storm.
a freeze.
Yep. Rats. We'll come back to Barry if Barry returns. But Alan, do you want to show us what you got?
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. So I had to spend some money, about the smallest stream deck that I could find, and wanted to control small meetings. So I set up an assortment of screens for pinning, spotlighting, things that I want to do in the meeting, like muting all, turning my video on and off. Some options like to share different screens, and just the very minimum for a small meeting that I would be doing.
That's awesome. That's great. Barry, looks like we got you back. We lost you a little ways through.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so what I was just saying was that we had really very, very late changes right up to the wire, and the most important thing was that they wanted it to look exactly like a TV gallery. Not possible on Zoom, but absolutely possible on ZoomOSC, and it completely saved the day. And I just want to say thank you very much, because we were able to do everything they required just as and when they wanted it, with changes right up to the wire. Thank you.
That's awesome. No, thank you, Barry. I'm glad to see that. Ward, do you want to show us what you're working on?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I work with vMix and using Companion and my Stream Deck.
We have 2 instances of you in Zoom, one with your face and one with just a gray background that I'm seeing on the front page.
And both are muted.
My face is the one you want to share. Well, because this is from the conversations I've been having with Andy of running ZoomOSC with my camera off with another incident. So
I actually think that one of the side effects of this meeting might be that there's so many people using ZoomOSC in one meeting and making requests that it may be an unknown behavior.
Turn on my ZoomOSC video. So let me just go to the regular Zoom meeting.
I was wondering if Mickey had spotlighted the wrong Ward camera.
Well,
there
seems like
when there's
my
more than one,
camera
it's
is
hard to
off.
figure out.
Well, never mind then.
Hey, no worries at all. If you get a chance to do a breakdown, and we'd love to put that in showcase, that'd be great.
Yep.
A lot of cool vMix stuff. Mike, looks like you got your hand.
Okay, take 2. So I'll just try and do this on my camera here. So what I was doing is this is just kind of based on a template of a play I did earlier this month, and so I just used that just to play around with this. So what I did. Originally, I thought this was just going to be a Rube Goldberg project, where basically I just automatically rename performers as they came in and do some automatic features at the top of the show. But then it became something that I could use as a backup during the play. And so what I have as a listener, just listening for the performers coming in, or if they happen to come in and change their name while they're here. And so it looks for the name that they typically use, and I have that in a data array. And for the most part, they use the same name, and I could even direct them to use just their first name. Comes in, does a quick name comparator, and then sends that through. And then with the character names from a different data array, it sends that in, so that if it kind of does a true. So if that is true, then it triggers their character name, and that gets output to a rename. And so And so with that, I also had to do a kind of a clearing of the baffles for the name comparators. So I have a little delay on that. And then it takes it through. So not only changes their name, but then also added these additional actions. So after it changes their name, put in a little bit of a delay so that the name change takes. So I have them make them a co-host, show usernames, hide non-video participants, etc. And so I just kind of did a lot of those things all at once. And then the cool thing about this is that I realized that by setting it up as a global character name, there are times that certain performers have different characters throughout the show. And so if they happen to hop off and then hop back on, I can actually change their global character name. So if they hop back on, if I have this running in the background, it will automatically rename them to that character at that time. And so that actually made it kind of a safety net coming back in. So this has actually been quite useful. I didn't use this for the actual play. I discovered ZoomOSC just during Tech Week. So I was actually able to integrate, because I had to do some spotlights, turning off cameras and a couple of those things. And I was just doing that manually. So 5 or 6 mouse clicks turned into 1 button push. So that helped out a ton with my Stream Deck. And then I also didn't really know about Isadora. I knew about QLab, but I don't have a Mac. And then so I've been working with Isadora the last 2 weeks, and then just playing with that and seeing what I can do with that. So this has been really awesome. I've been able to take that entire play because I was running ZoomOSC. I was running a single instance of regular Zoom for my AV, running video and audio. And then I was running 3 other instances of Zoom through a program called Sandboxy for other characters that I was also playing sound effects from. And I was using 4 instances of OBS to play those through all those different things. So with all that, I was able to take that and distill it down to running everything through Isadora and ZoomOSC. So that's kind of what I've been playing with.
That's great. And Mike, definitely post that on the showcase section of the Isadora forums, because I know that like Mark will love to see something like that, and they'll all, definitely applaud that labor that you put in there. It's so much more efficient. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Alex, I can flip it back to you. You can give us. We're gonna
do an ultra speed round here. We've got a couple questions. Let's see what we can get to. And let's go with the shorter ones first. Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, okay. Shorter questions first. So Beju was in, but I think you've already covered that. Mentioned ZoomOSC. Inquiring minds want to know more, but you covered that pretty well.
Yep, stay tuned.
So Talak is in here in the panel with, as a person that really should be using accents in his name, is it possible to use special characters in ZoomOSC? I should have asked this 8 months ago.
No, definitely. So special characters are not part of the OSC ASCII requirement, but we are going through all of the OSC libraries and asking them to support this because we want to represent your name properly, and the technology needs to get up to that point. So we've gone through and we've opened those requests and we've done the demos, and now it's a matter of those repos pulling our source code.
The next one comes from Eddie Martinez of Sacramento. Isadora, QLab, and others, if you do not own any, intend to purchase a license, what would you buy? Mac only, Windows only? I have both platforms, but what is better and why?
Okay, so if you're just trying to get started with ZoomOSC, go get Companion. It's free. It's cross-platform. You can get started with anything that you want. From there, if you've determined that you need a media server or a logic-based server, I would probably personally try out Isadora. You can do as much work as you want, and just as long as you don't save it, but you can have a free play space on both platforms. And then I think Universe will be the next answer once it's fully integrated.
Mike Graham of Larchmont, New York says, produced a webinar yesterday using nightly build of Companion. Use Spotlight and Multi-Spotlight to switch solo and group shots. Sometimes Stream Deck buttons required multiple pushes to respond. Any thoughts on why?
It's the nightly build of Companion. So we'll keep working on it.
All right, fair enough. We're moving on to Jeremy of somewhere. And Jeremy says, what are some of the tools that you're using for screen scraping?
Well, it depends on the context. Usually it's probably an NDI scan convert. There's definitely a world where I go out to HDMI to SDI converter and bring it in as SDI. Those are usually my go-tos. Isadora has a couple other options that can build off of open frameworks to pull in sources. I also am really a fan of open frameworks, Spout and Siphon.
Jason Panks of Nashville says, I have a showcase demo coming up. Can I control ZoomOSC and Mimo Live API with a single Stream Deck button?
Yeah, we saw it today.
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. And the last one, which is the larger one, Trig Wilson says, I couldn't get my ZoomOSC companion instance to receive values from ZoomOSC to show usernames on buttons. I noticed if I change my feedback transmission ports to 7,000 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was able to get them to work successfully. Any idea why? I need it to be 1, 2, 3, 4 for something else I'm doing. A note for extra context. Felipe Nardo's Maestro software requires the transmission port to be 1, 2, 3, 4, so currently I seem to have to pick between either using Maestro or using companion buttons, which is definitely not ideal.
There's your problem. They're both trying to use 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's eating up one of the packets when it tries to go to the other one. Use a broadcast address. That's the 255 syntax. It's the last IP address in the range on localhost. Put that in as your OSC transmit IP, and both Maestro and and Stream Deck companion will be able to listen to those packets. One is eating the other right now.
Amazing.
Okay, and the last
Look at that.
one just came.
No, we got to move. We got to move. So, so anyway, so Andy, thank you. Thank you so much. That was the most amazing speed round ever. So, and just a great month of learning how to use ZoomOSC and inspiring. I think we have a lot of people now in the group that are going to be doing it, and we're going to try to bring you back at least once a month if you're open to it, and just do an open Q&A and maybe even some more showcases so we can kind of keep on seeing what people are doing.
Absolutely. And make sure to sign up for your t-shirt.
Yeah.
You made it. You all made it. Congratulations. Good work.
Dude, thank you so much. And it's just a great piece of software. So we're really excited about it. And I know we're just getting started, and hopefully we want to be part of, as much as it's being part of our success, I want to be part of your success as well, because I think that you're on the right path. So thanks.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
And so anyway, I want to thank everyone else. I did put a Discord link in to Mukana just in case people had not seen it. That's a kind of an exception from our normal rule. But if you want to stay in the community that we have, that is going to keep on growing around ZoomOSC on our side, you're more than welcome to join. And I'm now going to jump to the resolve training, which there are people probably panicking right now. They're like, why didn't it start? It was 2 minutes ago. And so anyway, thank you all. And we'll see you later.
Andy, thanks. I'm going to miss doing speed rounds with you.
It's a fun time. We can anytime you want, just call me up and ask me as many questions as you like.